No matter how you go about it, your project will have an effect on people. Therefore, there are a lot of stakeholders and a lot of organizations that you need to take into account while you are designing your work. In this exercise, you will first think about who your stakeholders actually are in the context of your project. Who are important to you? To whom is your project or its effect important? Then, you will discuss these stakeholders with the help of the power interest grid. While discussing them, position your stakeholders on the grid along the axis of more or less power and more or less interest. This discussion will spark your first understanding of your stakeholders, and it will help you to select up to 8 stakeholders whom you want to explore further in this exercise. Note that these stakeholders that you select might be positioned anywhere in this grid. Next up, you position the 8 stakeholders that you've selected in here. And if you wish, you can change the icon to a more fitting one that assists your brainstorm. For each of the stakeholders, no matter what they might think of your project or what you might think of them, this exercise is all about understanding and empathizing with the perspective and experience of the stakeholder, such that you can better decide how to interact with them. Therefore, you will start to think about what expertise they have, what arguments they might voice regarding your project, what their underlying values might be, and what they might feel with regards to your project. Do note that in answering these questions, you can rely on your intuition and background knowledge, but you could also do some research on your stakeholders. In the process of looking into your stakeholders, you're likely to recognize that there are tensions or potential conflicting perspectives between these stakeholders or between stakeholders and your project. That is a really important aspect to anticipate in your design, because public debate could, rightfully so, have a major impact on your project. During your design phases, you have an opportunity to see how you might design your project in such a way that you could do justice to these perspectives or involve these stakeholders in your design processes. So here, you will describe the tensions between what or whom these potential tensions exist and the potential impact of these tensions towards your project or towards the world. In the final boxes, you will think about how you might interact with or approach these tensions, and how you could involve these perspectives in your design. Finally, there are 3 reflection questions that may come up in this brainstorm, and that would be good to pay specific attention to, especially because your team members might think very differently about this. Namely, is it desirable and is it possible to do justice to some or all of these perspectives in these tensions in your design choices? And whose interest do you think your innovation should serve best, and why? Note your takeaways of this exercise in the middle of the circle again.